Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome and thank you so very much for being here. I'm Kim Serafini, the founder and creator, the inventor of Positive Prime Sessions. I am really, quite frankly, honored, privileged, and it is a pleasure to lead a group of amazing Positive Prime professionals, one of whom is Jackie Simmons. She's an American who is truly inspiring. She's up to a huge mission on this planet. And she is the co-contributing creator of a Positive Prime session. And we're going to dive into a little bit more about the formula for the sessions, for how and why they actually work. But before we do, Jackie, you really are remarkable. You have created a really swift moving stream of people supporting you on your mission. I love your session. And I would love for you to actually describe now, what was its intention in that pure sense? Who is the audience? Why would they choose your session? And I'm going to go and gather it and screen share it. But before I do, just tell us a little bit about you and about the philosophy of the messages, and maybe weave into the story what you see in Positive Prime. Why do you love it? Why do you personally use it? Why do you recommend it to your clients? Away you go.
Thank you. I'm Jackie Simmons. I'm the creator of Leaving Shouldville, How to Make Peace with Your Past So You Can Create Your Future. It's a session on the Positive Prime platform. Positive Prime is a transformative technology that allows my messages, my affirmative statements and questions, along with massive numbers of positive images, to get past your critical thinking brain and into your other than conscious mind. This is why I partnered with Positive Prime, so that we could co-create something that would move the needle forward. I've been helping people resolve their negative emotional history as a stress management consultant for years. That's what I do. Permanent resolution of whatever's creating the mental and emotional blocks that hold you back. So when Kim and I started talking, when I met Kim Serafini, and I understood that she had created a platform that would help tame down people's automatic negative thoughts, what's called an ant, and would just tame it down and shift the mind. And I'm going, whoa, I like this. I started using it. As a matter of fact, I started using it every single day because I was gearing up. I was on a runway like an airplane to a TEDx stage. And I was doing what most people would never dream of doing, which was ripping my script down to nothing and rebuilding it with the permission of the TEDx organizer less than 3 weeks before stage. I needed some help with my calm and confident performance. And so I've discovered Positive Prime around that time, started using it every day. By the time I was done on the TEDx stage, I was ready to have my own session up. I was sold. The sessions are very specific. They're topic oriented, whether it's about calm and confidence or happiness or success or prosperity, which I highly recommend watching Powerful Prosperity if you're going to go to a casino. The effect was amazing for me. I doubled down on my money. It was, and 2 nights in a row at the same machine, which they say never do. So never go to the same machine the next night. I did. I doubled my money again. I highly recommend that session. Needless to say, I'm glad I don't live near a casino, or I might never have gotten my own session up. Here's what's a miracle for me. I'm impacting thousands of people that would never have heard of me if my content was not up on Positive Prime. And Leaving Shouldville is exactly what it sounds like. It is 4 paths out of Shouldville. Shouldville, that place you go to when you should on yourself or someone shoulds on you and you buy into it. Shouldville is a dark, dank place where lives get lived and dreams go to die. So I took the 4 paths out of Shouldville that I've been teaching my clients for years, which is all about shifting out of judgment and regret and guilt and blame. And when you can leave those 4 emotions behind, you can create something miraculous with your life. So That's how this all came about and why I am so incredibly happy with this technology. It's fast, it's fun, it works, it's scientifically validated to improve mood and attitude for 6 to 8 hours, watching it only 3 minutes. And hey, if you're only going to watch one session, watch Leaving Shouldville. After all, why would you want to stay there?
Oh gosh, I love you. I love you. Yeah, do you know, Mona's actually giving you a clap. She did a great job on the fly, didn't she? Because absolute truth, I did not prepare Jackie for that. Jackie is well prepared. She shows up to life well prepared. She did not know she was actually going to join us today, but you're in for a treat. So I'm going to play your session, Jackie, and let me just screen share for a moment. You can talk us through. So I am actually happy. You just made me happy. The music is gorgeous in there, so let me share that. Let's go to full screen. And now, if we had only a couple of minutes, I'll go back here so you can all see this. But if I had only a couple of minutes, I could go down here and I could choose, oh, I want to watch this inside 5 minutes. So I'll choose 5 minutes. You watch it speed up. Given we're here together, let's make this go for 60 minutes, shall we? And see how slowly it can go. Now let me just mute that so we can have Jackie actually tell us. All right, so this is your session, Jackie Simmons, and it is about leaving Shouldville.
It is.
And I would love you to explain to everybody what motivated you in terms of the way that you specifically wrote the affirmations, the mantras, the incantations, the affirmations, the appreciative inquiry statements, and so forth. What's the methodology behind it, the why, and how does it actually work?
All right. Every book you've ever read was useful. This is how we were trained growing up. Somebody said, you. And so that's the way we're used to receiving messages. So there will be a lot of things in my session that have that second person, you did this, or you are this, or when did you become this? How, and then probably the next one that's going to pop up is going to be in the first person. And it's going to be, how did I get so amazing? We know that when you ask your brain a question, your brain goes searching for the answer. So the quality of your question matters. And that's one of the things that I didn't know. You know, how did I make this mistake again is not the question I want to ask, because my brain will give me all the reasons that I'm going to make this mistake again. Instead, if I ask the question, what can I learn from this? Then I'm going to get a very different set of answers. And so Leaving Shouldville has 4 pillars. One is about money. And this one, there are ways to connect in every conversation. Nothing is ever wasted. You feel content every day. How did you get so creative? Now your brain is searching for that information. And you are creative enough to have created time in your schedule to be here. So there's no way someone can say to me that they're not creative, because you create every moment of every day. And we just aren't told that that's what creativity is. So the statements and the questions are designed to hit you where you need to be hit. You trust yourself. That's part of the process that we've adopted for my mission, which is to make teen suicide a thing of the past, is addressing those cornerstones of know, liking, and trusting yourself. And they're all in here. I actually took the best of Leaving Shouldville, the know, like, and trust factor assessment, and 2 other tools that we use, and put them into this one session so that you would get pulled out of Shouldville, out of judgment, guilt, regret, and blame, and pushed into, I look forward to each day. Pulled into the direction that you want your life to go. Now you'll notice in here, there's a lot of waterfalls and elephants. Oh, and that's one of my favorites. Sometimes getting done is enough. Sometimes good enough really is good enough. And you move on. When someone says getting done is better than perfect, they're wrong. I'm sorry. It's a popular phase right now, but your brain will not accept it. Why? Because your brain knows that nothing is better than perfect. It's like there's nothing more than 100%. All there is all there is. So your brain accepts the one that's in here, though, because what it says in here is done is perfect. And that's different. That's a truth that your brain can adopt, because now you're creating your own definition. And creating a definition for yourself is what holds you back. If you're using the definitions that made you possible for you to survive your childhood, whatever perfect childhood you had, you still learned some coping skills. And those hold us back as adults because we're no longer in that survival space. And so this is my way of helping you resolve all of those and coming in to trust yourself. And so that's the intent behind this session. And as you can tell, there's a lot of people smiling. These are that special kind of Duchenne smiles all the way up to the eyeballs. Lots of vistas, because they are inspirational. They actually pull you in. And I love the way that the session was curated for me. I did not have to go out and find these thousands of photographs. They were actually found for me within the parameters that I set for what would match. That ball field actually lives on the Leaving Shouldville cards that my clients use to remind them of the rules of how to get out and stay out of Shouldville. Because I love the metaphor of a ballpark, which starts with, if I'm not the club owner, I'm not the one making the rules. So I have to decide how I'm going to relate to the rules. And appreciating yourself and the stories that you hear is how that whole framework came about. So that's why you'll see ballpark metaphors. That's why I will help you prompt yourself to hear the love in everyone's words. It changes what you hear when people are talking with you. When you can get this idea past your critical thinking brain and into your other than conscious mind. So elephants abound in my world. As Kim knows, I have a book coming up, book launch coming up next week, and it's got an elephant on the cover, because there's something about the metaphor of the elephant and the elephant being your subconscious mind and the ant being your conscious mind. Can you imagine an ant directing an elephant? That's how most of us live. Most of us live thinking that the ant, our conscious mind, is in control. Once I understood that that wasn't true, then I could go, how do I reprogram the elephant? And the opinions of others guided me a great deal. I have studied, read the books of, attended lectures with some amazing people over the years. I highly recommend mentorship and coaching because I have 5 mentors at any one time for various aspects of my personal and professional development. It's worth the journey, and the journey is faster. And trust me, my life really is full of miracles. I'll bet yours is too. You might not have yet figured out how to get yourself to focus on your life as being full of miracles, but watching Leaving Shouldville will help you do that, because there are no miracles in Shouldville. But once you get out, you start seeing them everywhere, and life gets a lot more interesting from there. Ooh, I like that picture.
Yay, Jackie, you just did an awesome job. You really did. You really did. So I'm sure that everybody has noticed that there are some of my personal photos, because you've seen me in there. I have used the software to make sure that my brain adopts Jackie's wisdom, Jackie's suggestions, Jackie's advice, Jackie's loving care, her consideration and thoughtfulness, her brilliance. And the way that my brain does that is by having the messages wrap around my own identity. And so it must be personalized in order for that to occur. And so I've uploaded lots of photographs that include me, so that my identity is actually integrated with the content. So I would highly recommend that for every session that you're watching regularly. See, that's me and a friend of mine, Fawn. They're actually friends of mine, Orna and Matthew. And so when I see that, it triggers me. When I see my name, it's really interesting because it allows me to pay attention. And we have a very deep desire to pay attention to that which is going to serve us. Our reticular activating system, that part of our brain that is sorting and sifting the entire world, 11 million bits of information per second, in order so that we can achieve our goals with more ease, more speed, more grace. It actually goes in search of what's important to me, and there's nothing more important to us than ourselves. So you've been there at a party and you've heard somebody say your name, and you know, spin around, you're like, oh, what were they saying? And so if you see your name inside the actual teaching, inside the presentation, it actually allows you to just very effortlessly flow with the messages. It allows you to at least consider them without rejecting them or resisting them, because maybe it's unfamiliar. And this works really with prosperity. If you've never made $1 million before in 1 year, you actually don't really know what you don't know. And it's really quite unfamiliar to you and your subconscious. And we actually, because of our survival mechanism with our lizard brain, our reptilian part about ourselves, we actually literally push away anything that is unfamiliar. But in order for us to actually break through, we need to make the familiar familiar and the unfamiliar familiar, and we need to own it. And the only way for us to actually do that is through mental rehearsal, is to have these images imprinted so that they actually feel very comfortable the second time you watch it, the third time you watch it, the 30th time you watch it, the 300th time you've watched it. And I can assure you, I was once the girl who set myself this ambitious intention that I would make more than $1 million a year. And I had no idea how. Now, if you listen to Deepak Chopra or Jerry Ennis, from Abraham or Dr. Joe Dispenza or I could name 1,000 others, Jackie or me, if you absolutely surrender and let go to the how, we promise you the how does show up. And if you're connected to source and you're feeling very strong and centered and balanced, you actually get these very specific messages that very subtly nudge you in the right direction. And as you start to take action and more action and more action and more action, the path is revealed to you when you're on the journey. It's a bit like your ballpark, isn't it, Jackie? Sometimes you actually have to be playing the game in order to win the points, right? You can't get there if you're not playing. See, that's me at a gala. Gala is the Americans say, as a gala, as a ball, as we would say in Australia. And so I'm just going to really quickly show you, because do you know what I decided yesterday? I'm going to go back here and I'm going to pause and I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And I do feel a lot better. Who feels a lot better? Let's just say yes. I'm going to show you very quickly what I decided yesterday and how do you actually personalize and how do you actually use neuroscience in manifestation. Ready? We're going to leverage the way that we are as human beings, naturally and organically and automatically. All right, so let's do Jackie. And just so you don't know how to spell Jackie, there we go. This is Jackie. So I go to personalize. And yesterday, I actually decided I am going on a cruise. Yeah, I'm going to. Can you see here? Don't you love this? I decided I'm going to go to Corfu and to Croatia and to Greece.
We cannot see what you're seeing. We just see click here to select images from your device.
Oh, that's fascinating. Isn't that interesting that Zoom won't show? All right, so all I'm going to do is I am going to see what happens. I've actually gone to my own folder and I've selected them. So let's see what actually happens and see if this uploads. Shall I? Alrighty. Can you now see something preparing to upload?
Yes, now we see upload images, 1 of 20.
Okay, excellent. So I actually had created a folder, and yesterday when I decided I'm going to go on this cruise, I found an itinerary and there were ports of call I'd never even heard of. So I went to Google Maps and I actually looked, where are they on the planet? And I then read a little bit about them. And that actually started me feeling like I was in action. I was sending a message to the universe. It was loud and clear. I'm actually interested in that. I don't know yet when. I don't know yet how. What I do know is that I am committed to that experience. I want to go there. And so then what I did is I went to Google Images and I put the name of the port in, and I went and found images and I right-clicked, and guess what I'm doing? I'm personalizing. And so now every single time I watch this particular session, the photographs of those ports are going to show up as part of my personal collection. What do you think is going to happen? I've just accelerated. I put the foot down. Away we go. And all I know now is that the universe, source, my higher self, and the people, circumstances, and situation in my life will align such that the hows will start to show up and it will become reality. And so I would recommend that if you're a Positive Prime member, that you check back in with me in a year's time and you ask me, have I either already been to Corfu, or am I actually physically booked, reserved, paid for to go to Corfu? And let's see how I manifested that. Hey, and you can have as much fun as you possibly like to do the same. It might not be Corfu for you. It might be camping underneath the great southern stars in Australia in the desert. It could be anything you like. It might be taking your granddaughter to Disneyland. It might be having a delicious meal with a group of friends on a terrace in Santa Barbara. It doesn't matter what it is. Just decide with your whole heart that you want to experience it. Don't allow anybody else's judgments. No shoulds. You either should want that or you shouldn't, based upon other people's values and parameters for what's meaningful for their life. None of that. Oh, you should save some more money. Whatever. Oh, you should pay off your mortgage first. Whatever. All of that will prevent you from being in the vibration, the frequency necessary for you to actually achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And the only thing that matters in this life is that you have experienced what you want to have experienced in this precious life, right? So it's now preparing them all. Oh, look at this. And it says, please be patient while we upload your image. Oh, let's go and have a look at what's happening in the chat. It says, I did fly and drive. Oh, I did a fly and drive vacation in Alaska. Wow, Lee. That's actually also on my bucket list. And so one of the things that I use Positive Prime for, I leverage it and I harness it as a tool to help me to get clear on what is on my bucket list. And then I attach my other than consciousness to that, and I allow life to unfold such that it will happen. It will happen. It is happening. And then if I can be in this gratitude state, like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm like now thanking my higher self and all the circumstances and situation and people that helped to ensure that whatever was necessary happened such that I could go to Corfu. So I could actually transport myself. And can you see all these photos down here now? All righty. So this one's in Croatia, I know. See this one. Oh, I'd never even heard of the place, but I've seen a photograph like that somewhere before. And I thought, oh, that's where that is. Okay, so now I can select all on this page. And that's excellent. They're all in there now, and I can go play the session. And they're all going to appear. How simple was that? Love it, don't you? I do. All right, so I'm going to keep playing. But you can see I've hearted this one, which means I love it. What does that mean? It's over here in my sessions. It's one of the sessions that's in my little collection of the ones that I
mute
love.
the music.
Okay, so thank you. The little heart means that this actually appears over here in my sessions. This is my little collection of my favorites. So if I don't want to search through all of the different sessions that are available, and there's over 100 available, then I'll go to my sessions and just choose the one that I want every single day. Okay, all righty. Who has a question? And maybe Jackie can stay and help us answer them. Mona, you've been very beautiful listening. Tell us, if you want to, you don't have to, what is it about Positive Prime that you're curious about, and what is it that you're loving or you don't yet know, and do you have any questions?
Well, there's a lot I still don't know, but what I really am intrigued and excited about is I have a proprietary method to teach a different kind of mind-body engagement. And I haven't really gotten into the Positive Prime aspect of it. It does need some of that to develop the ease of moving and pain-free moving patterns that I'm wanting my clients to experience. So I could see, I work with the mind. I use images like this is the ball and socket joint, and because I work with joints, and this is the hinge joint. So I am working with that to change patterns with people, because as a movement analyst, I also observe that most people use the ball and socket joints like hinge joints, and hinge joints like ball and socket joints. So there's a big shift. And sometimes I'm really having to push through a whole, I'm going up a hill with helping people to really understand something they've never experienced before. And I know my work as a movement analyst, but there's some other aspects that I need to, as for me, to be able to empower that message a little bit more of that positive myself. And
you know, Mona, I will tell you, there are lots of massage therapists, osteopaths, chiropractors, other physical therapists who have their clients positively prime themselves prior to a treatment or an exercise routine. Lots of Pilates instructors, yoga instructors, and so forth. There's an enormous amount of science, research that has been done on how a positively primed human being is actually able, it's like an on-ramp to engage in more exercise and movement. And so if you are really keen on that, I would recommend that, bear with me, you have a good look at our science area. And so I'm going to go and get a link and pop it into the chat, and you can actually go down and a deeper dive into, okay, so these are all of the aspects or the ingredients that put together this formula, and wow, this is how it works. And interestingly enough, the reason why we have so many of these practitioners and professionals working with us is because we do actually have a very generous affiliate program. And so we will have therapists or practitioners who will actually have their clients engage in a Positive Prime subscription. And at the moment, our entire deal is, and it's actually only at the moment, for $199 a year, you actually get access to all of the Positive Prime sessions, and you actually also get access to all of the Positive Prime coaching pearls, right? So that's actually an incredible program of mentoring and advice and suggestions and guidance and support, one very short video every single day for 365 days. And normally we sell the Coaching Pearls program on its own for $499. But right now it's actually bundled along with our Positive Prime subscription. So for $199, you actually receive both programs, which is crazy, beautiful, exceptional, fantastic. Wow, right? So I would recommend that you do have a little look at the formula and you figure out how Positive Prime can enable your clients. And I think that what may happen, a little like Jackie Simmons, is that you'll come to this realization that perhaps Positive Prime can serve you and you can share your brilliance with the Positive Prime audience community members, of which there are, by the way, tens of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands joining every single month, brand new people. So our audience is actually exponentially growing. And so I think if you dive deep, you'll actually figure out like, this is how I could harness this. This is what I could offer to the entire Positive Prime community. This is what Positive Prime can actually do for me and my people. It's actually a beautiful symbiotic dance. Wouldn't you agree, Jackie?
Absolutely. It was inviting my friends, my clients along the journey with me that made me realize the power that this has. And just on a personal note, my personal affiliate link generates a second income stream for me that has averaged over $1,000 a month ever since I started, simply by helping people see how it will help them be ready to work with me, how it will help them not need to work quite so much, how it helps them be more relaxed so that they can start to move their body in a different way. One of the ways that that would be really beneficial for you is simply for people to tap in to the sessions that allow them to relax, Mona, so that then their body's not so bound up to start with. It would make it much easier for them to move in a new way.
Right.
I love that, Jackie. And do you know, Mona, I think that you'll also find there's a group of like-minded people here. And so there's a lovely lady who is now one of our friends, and she's a Positive Prime professional. Her name is Janet Danielson, and she owns, quite frankly, a huge business in Canada. And she started as a Pilates instructor, and then she developed a, substantial studio. And now she has a completely integrative health place, let's call it, like a urban retreat on steroids. I don't know how else to describe it. And she's gone on to create all sorts of other products, and she's invested in all sorts of other, companies, all related to health and wellness. And she's one of the people that our Positive Prime subscribers get to know through her session, but also our Positive Prime professionals get to actually work with in collaboration, so that maybe there's magic to be made just by helping out each other. So there's all sorts of potentials already. So let me just quickly show you, because I put into the actual chat, there is a page that I put in, and this, if you scroll down, I would highly recommend that you start by watching this excellent TED Talk and then what is said. If you don't really know who he is, you're about to find out. And this is actually a little bit of the efficacy statement. So this was some research that was done to prove that within 3 minutes, we can actually make somebody's brain and their biochemistry change for up to 6 to 8 hours. And we found that there were, in memory tests, more that was consciously processed, remembered, recalled, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you actually want to go and view, because this is just one of the little pieces that I would love you to have a look at, you can go and have a look at, what does Positive Prime have to do with the heliotropic effect? And so there's more and more resources, or you can go back and have a look at what all of the actual elements are that we have combined in order to create Positive Prime. And these are the elements. So how is it that we're integrating what we know from Dr. Barbara Fredrickson and the broaden and build theory? What is it that we are actually integrating that we know about binaural beats, brain entrainment, and accelerated learning from Dr. Paul Shirley, right? And his little piece here in pre-conscious processing is just fascinating. So I think that's going to take you on a wild ride indeed. Is there any other question you specifically want me to answer right now? You'll need to unmute yourself.
You've given me a lot to think about. I might get back after I do the study and such with some questions.
Yay!
Right, but that was wonderful. Right.
Okay,
So
we are here every week. It's either me or another Positive Prime leader who actually hosts these Zooms.
Okay.
All righty. So is there anybody else who would really like to actually see or has a question? Hey?
Mona, check the chat. Editor Lee would like to connect with you. She's a former ballroom dancer or a current ballroom dancer. So she's interested. So yes, check the chat.
All right, great. I see. Yes, I see your name.
Thank you. Oh, I love that. I love that. Miracles right here and right now. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, that brings us to an end. We're usually at about 30 minutes. We've gone just a little bit over. And if you've got another question, please show up again next week. We'll see you same place, same time. Well, kind of, not really. Zoom. We love you very much and we wish you all the very best.